For paleontologists, part of the adventure in their field of study comes from the fact that it's never known what will be found in the field. It's the thrill of discovery. But what researchers with the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences found during their trip to Utah in the summer of 2014 is, well, pretty extraordinary.
And this is really remarkable. This is the amount of material we collected just off the surface. So when we stumbled across this dinosaur when we were walking around the hills looking for fossils, all these bones were sort of trailing down the hill, and we sort of found one at the top, and then we followed and kept picking up more and more and more all the way down this hill. And they're sort of laying out, breaking apart, so they're not in great condition, but we were able to just collect all of this in just maybe an hour.
What you might call convenient fossil hunting just doesn't happen. And what's even more amazing is that all of the bones, large, small, and even broken, form the nearly complete skeleton of a dinosaur that lived about 98 million years ago.
We have a large portion of the skeleton here already. This is part of the upper arm bone up here. We also have a whole bunch of vertebra from the spine of this animal, and this is what tells us that this is a juvenile and not a fully grown individual, because these two pieces would fuse together to make one bone when this animal was fully grown, but because it still has a lot of growing to do, they stay apart so the animal can grow bigger and bigger before they become one unit.
But here's the most amazing thing. It turns out that all of those fossils that were so easy to recover are from a completely new dinosaur. It's a dinosaur species that, until now, has not been known. That means researchers around the world will look to the North Carolina Museum for guidance about this dinosaur.
And so far, the museum doesn't have what we call a dinosaur holotype. And this is a specimen where there's been a new species described, and we give it a name, and we attach that name to a particular specimen. We call that the holotype specimen. And we think that this animal will represent the museum's first dinosaurian holotype. We have holotypes of crocodiles and other types of creatures, but we've never had a dinosaurian holotype here.
Scientists find the primary clues into a dinosaur's ID by studying the skull and the jawbone. Those fossils contain the most information for a paleontologist because they have what are called signaling structures, such as horns and frills and other display features. In fact, the skull often contains the only differences that are really pronounced and unique to a species.
This is a lower jawbone, and it has a series of holes where the teeth would have been, and a couple of crowns, tooth crowns, still embedded in the jaw. And these are very important because looking at them, we can immediately tell that this is a plant eater, it's not a predator. It's got sort of leaf-shaped teeth with little denticles and little ridges. And these are very characteristic of some plant-eating dinosaurs that we find. This little bone is really important for us. So this is the bone from the front of the face of our new beastie, and we at first thought that it had no teeth. But as we've prepared the other side, we've found 3 holes where 3 pointy little teeth would have gone, and they would have been right at the front of the face of this animal. Well, these probably would have been the first teeth the animal would have used as it was acquiring plants, and then maybe use some of the cheek teeth to shred them up.
The challenge now is to discover what the new dinosaur looked like. So, to better understand the past, scientists look to the present.
You have to extrapolate someone. So while we might not have an entire skeleton of an animal like this, we do have entire skeletons of close relatives of it.
Mark Norell cites the upper limb bones as a good example of relating the past to the present. That's because the upper limb bone has a pretty direct relationship to a creature's size. And it's a relationship that falls across all types of animals, including dinosaurs, mammals, and reptiles. Scientists can use the limb bone to pretty accurately extrapolate an animal's size.
The dinosaurs aren't extinct, we just call them birds now. And, lots of these animals, things like Tyrannosaurus rex, were incredibly bird-like, probably had feathers when it was alive. It had a wishbone, it has hollow bones just like birds have. It walks in that characteristic posture that you see ducks and chickens of its backbone parallel to the ground with an S-shaped neck. So these animals were extraordinarily bird-like when they were alive.
There is even more information we can learn about the life of this individual dinosaur from studying the fossils, and this information adds a potentially sad note to a fascinating story.
is one of the jaw bones that we're looking at actually has a lot of signs on it that it may have had some serious infections. So tooth abscesses or other infections in the jaw that have created these holes in the bone. And so this may have been one of the reasons that this poor critter died and was eventually fossilized for us to find him. But we'll have to do research to learn more about what kind of infection this animal might have had and what it might have meant for its life.
But once again, the present, in this case, the effects of diseases on modern reptiles, can teach us about the past.
Because these animals are extinct and we can't observe them directly, we have to look to living animals. And so what we do is we study how these diseases progress in closely related animals that are alive today, so birds and crocodiles. And we compare how their bones look when they have certain diseases, and then we're able to make hypotheses about what these animals suffered from.